Hello and welcome to the Inside CI podcast for Wednesday the 29th of July 2026. I'm your host Stuart Burgess, and with me as always is my co-host Mr. Simon Gregory. Simon, how are you?
Good afternoon, Stuart. I'm very well, thank you. We are live and in living colour, and we are recording, which is the main thing.
Yeah, well, if anybody listened to the last couple of weeks, I think it was. First of all, I said July when we're at. Sorry, I said June when we're actually in July. I tried to cut it out. I just couldn't get rid of it. So we are definitely in July, and if you are listening to this, you should be listening to this on Wednesday the 29th of July, and yes, and I remember to hit the record button this week, so we are live and ready to rock and roll. So how are you, Mr. Gregory? What have you been up to recently?
Yes, I'm very well, thank you. The family are away, so I'm living the dream. So I'm a bachelor once again, which is actually quite nice. I can play games and watch movies, and yeah, had a nice big tomahawk steak all to myself the weekend. So that was beautiful. But one by one, the kids and the wife are coming back next week. So no, what day we're now? Monday. So yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They're all due back. So one at a time. But yeah, no, I'm very, very well.
Have you been on your own all weekend then?
Since Saturday evening time, so yeah, that was good. I've enjoyed myself. It's like a mini holiday just for me, which I'd recommend to everybody. I love the family dearly, but
well, to be honest, that's why I like going away sometimes to like the Cedia Tech Summits and ISE, and then I think I said the last pod I'm probably not going to be able to get out to Denver, but I have registered for press passes for IFA. So if they come through, I've quickly looked at flights. So I might go out to Germany for I think it's 2 days they have as their media day. So I might go out there for 1 or 2 nights, because I reckon all in all, it's probably going to cost me about £500, where Denver was going to be more like $5,000.
Does that include a Segway to get around though, Stuart? I told you it's 11 halls.
No, just my painful knees and finding some poor schmuck to push me around in a wheelchair.
That's what you need, definitely around IFA. But no, it's a really good show. So, but yeah, no. Apart from that, we went to saw CAVD as well this week, which was very nice. Went over to see the launch of their Krix little cinema that they've got, the MX20 Mark II, which is a very nice system. Yeah, no, Jamie there was showing us around. We're at somebody's house as well, which I think is very nice. It's more real world. So yeah, we had a good day. What do you think?
Yeah, so yeah, we were at Liam's house. So fundamentally, Jamie has his facilities in Marlow, which they have the cinema in. Then they have a few, about 2 or 3 different rooms, different spaces there, plus the offices. And then literally, I don't know, probably about 20-25 minute drive from there, they've got Liam's house, which Liam's been kind enough to work with Jamie to basically put some garden audio in. You know, it's almost like, let's put it in a real world environment, so actually in someone's house. So they've got garden audio outside, and then they had the Krix system downstairs in Liam's cinema with the nice racing sim that he didn't have switched on. But I was, yeah, I mean, I thought it was really good system. I mean, we've done a couple of Krix systems over the last 12 months with another integrator, and I've really enjoyed them. And I'm happy that Krix has gone with Jamie. I think it will be a good brand for them. Very hands-on, working with Krix directly. I think he's going to get some really good products into some really good integrators' hands. And if you're not familiar with Krix, or dare I say, if you've heard Krix before, do hook up with Jamie, because I think that unfortunately one of the facilities over that neck of the woods, I never really liked the Krix system in it. In the other system near you, I think the Krix system sounded really good, but obviously now it's with Jamie. Do go and hear it, because it's the Mark II system, and it fits that room absolutely perfectly, and I was very, very impressed. What did you think?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. Similar thoughts to yourself about previous locations. I was never that impressed. It got tweaked a lot, and yeah, it wasn't really suited for that room maybe. But yeah, no, the MX20 system, it's designed, I've got the little sheet up here in front of me, it's designed for 4 meters to 70 meters, can do up to 95 dB as well. So the Mark II version, I actually thought was, again, being in a real world environment really helped me personally, but also I think clients, because I think we can take our clients there as well. But as a dealer, I really enjoyed sort of sitting down, almost like in one of your clients' own demonstration facilities. It was quite nice. I actually sat in the front row. I don't know where you sat. The back row, that's where it was.
Front row.
That's where I was. It was calibrated for the back row, and it did sound really, really, really good. So the front row, not quite as good, but the back row really, really did sing. I sat in both rows, so I had a bit of time doing that. Lots of different demos, which was really nice. Different, like Star is Born. We actually put on Sinners, thanks to Mr. Carter. Jamie kindly downloaded that for us all, and we watched Sinners. And again, if you want to sell a system, just put the demo of Sinners on right at the beginning, and yeah, you'll get a really nice demonstration there, and the client's going to be really, really happy. But yeah, no, it was a really, really nice day. We had some good food as well, and the weather was shining. Sorry, the sun was shining, and the weather was good. So just the drive back home took a little bit longer than I wanted.
Yeah, I think that's why I decided to go in the morning session, because, as you know, I'm an early bird these days. So I thought, look, I'm gonna get there. I'll get in the early session, and then I'll have some lunch and then go. I think I left about 2 o'clock. I think it was. So when you guys went downstairs, but no, I was really impressed. It was, to say, it was good selection of materials that Jamie had on there on a Kaleidescape, which is great, because it just does annoy me when you do go to some demos places and they are flipping and flopping between USB sticks and DVDs. It's like Kaleidescape just makes it a lot smoother and a lot more, professional. And then literally Jamie was like, look, who wants to play something, who wants to listen to something? So we were putting some music on Tidal, and yeah, it's just a great little room. And I think, as there's a really funny photograph of Richard coming out from behind the fabric as Liam was sitting down last Sunday, I think it was, watching the Belgium Grand Prix, eating his jacket potato whilst the guys were still trying to build the room around him. So no, I was really impressed. So and say, I'm really happy that Krix is with Jamie, and hopefully they'll do some good business.
Yeah, as Jamie was saying, they launched it a little while ago, but now it's sort of full force and they're ready to go and really push it hard. We were talking about how different dealers can be in part of it, and what he wants is like a specific dealer network. So he doesn't want everybody doing that. You've got to go on maybe some training or something like that to actually become a proper Krix installer and do 1, 2, 3 a year if possible. So really sort of homing in on the Krix ethos, and yeah, no, it was a nice little demonstration that they did there. So well done, guys.
Well, now I've been playing around with a MX30, I think it is, at the client's house. We're doing with another integrator. We've not really got the projector up and anything at the moment, but I was just calibrating the Anthem. We were using Anthem at this place. We were calibrating the Anthem, the power amps and that, and I was just literally sitting down, airplaying from my MacBook some music to it in 2-channel, and it sounded amazing. And some of the tracks, the go-to tracks I go to, like Jay-Z and Kanye West Paris, which have got a good bass line. The bass in the room was brilliant, and I think the whole design of Krix being that infinite baffle wall, being that you create, for want of a better word, a letterbox in the front wall, and you slide it in there, and then you literally wrap the front wall with fabric and put the screen over it. It means it's exactly where it should be. It spans the width you need it to be with the spacers. Yeah, I was never really a great fan of Krix, I'll be the first to admit, but since doing 2 cinemas with it, where I've not specified it, and then obviously now, listen to it at Jamie's place, it sort of swung me round to recommend it a bit more, especially obviously more to integrators these days, because I'm not really doing much install. But I definitely would recommend it.
It's such a, I mean, I personally haven't done one, but it looks as such a simple and easy installation. As you say, you have your letterbox behind the screen and put in the speakers and the subs, and away you go. So the one you're doing at the moment, did that have extra subs in there? What size room was that in?
So that's why they went up to the MX30. So that is, I'm trying to think now. I think that's like 5x7. So it's got the MX30 at the front with spacers in it, and then at the rears, it's got 2 subs behind the rear seats. We wanted to put them in the wall, but the client's like, I'm not taking that much depth, and I can't remember the name of it now, but I know that Krix were there, and the lady from Krix was basically saying that they were doing a smaller, shallower subwoofer that ideally could do those waveforming rear channels, or be that rear sub that we might be able to get within, some space frame systems and behind some fabric, so they're not in the room like they are at Jamie's or Liam's and this client's I've done at mine. But yeah, that was what was that? So that was a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That was a 9.4.2, because although it's got 4 subs, it's running on two channels
from the amp.
Yeah, but no, actually, it's from, weirdly, and I want to have a word with the supplier about this. It's running on some Bose amps. Now, I know they're not.
What?
Yes, I know. I know they're not Bose underneath. I can't remember what they're called now. I think they're a brand that CUK distribute as well. But they were unbelible faff to set up. I didn't do it, luckily.
That's just Bose in general, isn't it? It's not anything to do with being anything else. I think it's just Bose in general. There's a big faff.
Well, the thing was, you had to. Simon, actually, our mutual Simon had to get his son Jack down, because they literally had to log into the PC and go into the settings of the PC. But it wasn't like, you do with the Anthem or any of them. I mean, like they've got the audio control Hyperion, I think it is, running Jamie's system or Liam's system. It's not like you just go in and adjust the levels and you do this. You literally had to go out and mathematically work out the phasing and things like this to get it working right. It was a right palaver, and I'm really glad I didn't have to do it. But it sounded good.
It sounded good, and whatever. The client doesn't see all that, so that's the main thing. And it's, as long as the client's happy, that is the priority.
Yeah, and that job is, I think that was like a 5 meter wide screen research side masking screen, a Bravia 6 projector, and then obviously Krix, Anthem, Mad VR, and Kaleidescape. So it is a full kit. I mean, it's going to be up there with one of the best cinemas I've ever built. A shame I didn't earn the profit from selling the kit, but
that's the thing, and that's a big room. That's why they've gone to the MX30. But that does 105 dB, so you want to get reference. You have to go to that level. The MX20 is only 95 dB, so that's my only concern with some of the Krix stuff. You want to get to that reference for the client, then you've got to put minimum MX30 in.
Yeah, but don't forget, majority of the time people are going to listen to it around about sort of 80, 85 dB. Most people will listen to their cinemas at. So, but yes, it's a bit like a sports car. It's nice to know that you can push it to reference. You can push it to 110 miles an hour if you need to overtake a slow-moving horse car or something like that.
Yes, Stuart.
I like my analogies.
Yes, completely out there.
So I the day before that, and I know that I think it was Liam from Aggressive had gone to that before he came to CAVD on the day, and I think Steve from Cedia was going to it later in the day. But the day before the CAVD one, I went to CUK, which I've never been to before. Their showrooms down in Ascot.
Was it as posh as it sounded?
Yes, it's really nice. They've got 2 really good rooms there. They've got two cinemas. One cinema, unfortunately, because of the way they set it up, I couldn't hear it, but it usually has JBL synthesis in it, with Arcam and all those bits and pieces driving it. And then the other room is a bit more sort of like, trying to think how you could, sort of panelled walls and things like that. So it could be more of a hi-fi room as well as a media room, but again, projector base. But no, they had the guys from Harman down to look at the new Arcam AVRs and the new Arcam music streamers. Well, they're not streamers; they're 2-channel hi-fi with the streaming built in. But that was a really, really good day. I mean, I was really impressed. Let me just bring the screen down. So they were showing off I think the 2 models they had there were the AVA 35 and the AVP 45. Actually, I think they might have had the AVA 25 in one room, 35 in the other room, and then they also had the AVP, which is the processor. So these are brand new processors from Arcam. They basically start at the AVA 15 up to the 35 for sort of all built as one basically chassis that is an AVR basically, and then you have the AVP, which is the processor, which is the AVP 45. They then the two hi-fi bits they were showing off. Looking at their website now, if I could find them, were two channel streamers, which was the SA35 and the SA45. So they were two integrated amplifying streaming devices. So they were basically two channel stereo with a beautiful. I mean, the 45 had a beautiful large screen on the front of it, so you could easily sit there and see the artwork. But
is that similar to Wim? That sounds similar.
Yeah, but I think it's up there. These are more sort of like prosumer. These are for proper hi-fi people with the power to run a proper set of speakers. I mean, they also showed off their let me see if I can find it. So
I've always liked Arcam. I mean, I used to sell Arcam loads when I was in retail. So we sold so many of their DVD players when they first come out. I've actually got one here in the office just as a retro old school, and the old Diva range and the Arcam range. Went up to their factory and seen how everything was made. So always liked the Arcam stuff, and the AV amps. Early on weren't quite as good, but I think they've got better and better. Hopefully reliability is better with this new range as well. I've heard some mixed reports on reliability, but hopefully they are good to go.
Well, I think from the reliability point of view, I think these are more like designed in house, and they've been tested within the infinite degree sort of thing. I think with the older models, I think they had an issues out the box, but when you were 2 or 3 firmware updates in, I think they sort of stabilized and found the issues. What was quite good with these, talking to the guys, was that these were very much designed by engineers in Cambridge. They were very much like they were very focused on the performance of the product before the look of the product. So it was almost designed the proper way round. So nice. It was like the product was designed, and then it was then given to the team that make things look nice. So for instance, it's in a black chassis now. It's got like a yellow LED around the sort of volume knob and touches of yellow. And actually, if you look at their website at the moment, you'll notice that sort of yellow is sort of coming in as a brand color for them. They also had a set of speakers. So they've also released a range of speakers, sort of starting with the bookshelf speakers, the R15, the R25.
Wow.
And then you've got the floor standers, which are the R35 and the R45. And then you've got the R35C and the R35B, which is the center speaker and the subwoofer.
That's really interesting, because Arcam have never done speakers before, have they? Not that I know.
I don't think you have, but you've obviously got to remember Harman is part of. Sorry, you've got to remember Arcam is part of Harman.
That is true.
And Harman is part of Samsung.
Yeah.
Or ultimately owned by Samsung. So, and obviously don't also forget that they now own a plethora of products, including Bowers and Wilkins, Revel, JBL. Insert name of speaker here type of thing.
They own everything, I think you need to say, Stuart.
Well, I mean, and I asked them this. I asked them about it, and they actually were quite upfront with it, which was really, really interesting, which was like, ultimately, they're all sort of like left to do what they want to do within reason. So if I analogize it to my other podcast, the gaming podcast, it's like when Microsoft or Sony buy a big studio and they say, look, just turn out the games that you're making, because that's the games that we've bought you for. So just carry on as you are, and you don't necessarily have to worry about the money these days. And I think that with this, they wanted to embrace the Arcam name by bringing out a set of speakers. Now, the set of speakers they had in the cinema room were the R35s, I think, with the R25s, the R35C and the R25B. Now, for me, obviously, they had to be put in that room, but they didn't fit that room. For me, they fit the room that's on the images on Arcam's website, which is a lounge, living room type of place where you might want a decent surround sound system as an upgrade from your sort of sound bar or your wireless music system. And then in the other room, they had the R35s with the integrated amplifier, and I was really impressed with that. They really did kick. Yeah, so I think that, is it a place for a an inside CI professional integrator person who builds cinema rooms like you, me, Mel and Giff, Owen, Tom, those type of people? Then maybe not. But is it like a nice 2-channel system with a streaming system that takes eARC that is better than a soundbar? Definitely. Is it a good little surround sound system in a living room environment, and that might be an upgrade from a soundbar, but you want multi-channel? Definite. So it's got its place, and I think that it will sell really, really well. It was just nice to see some really interesting, sexy looking stuff from Arcam.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And say if it fits the solution, then all well and good. I say, did you say the speakers? Do you think they're Arcam or they're rebadged from Harman, or where do you think in the line they come in?
I'm pretty sure they're Revel speakers. I'm pretty sure they're rebranded Revel speakers.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. Let's face it. If you ever watch, like, I watch a YouTuber called Matt Armstrong, and he takes crash damaged cars and he repairs them, and his channel was grown from him doing an Audi TT in the car park of the restaurant he worked at to at the moment he's just done a road trip in the Bugatti Veyron. He's done now, as he's been taking apart this Bugatti Veyron, obviously there's a lot of parts in there which are VW Group. There actually were, I think, in the Chiron there's some Audi parts as well. But you sort of say, why are you going to develop an airbag for a car that you're only going to make 150 of, where you could use the airbag from a car that you're going to make 3 or 4 million of?
Exactly.
Because you've got to do the R&D on it.
Yep.
So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't think they've literally just taken a Revel badge off and put an Arcam badge on, but I think the fundamental drivers are the same, and they've just made them to look like the new Arcam style.
Yeah, maybe they've tweaked the crossovers and stuff. I mean, it has to work with the Arcam products, so I would assume they've tweaked the crossovers with their own transistors and resistors, and got it sounding good. But sounds like a fun day.
Yeah, it was really, really good, and it was good. I mean, obviously Mara XAWE is there now, and it was good to see her. She seems very happy there. I got to meet Stuart, the owner. So we've sort of talked an email, but because he's based up in Scotland, we've never met face to face. So we had a really good conversation about HCA members, about Inside CI, and about CUK going forward and what they were trying to achieve, because a lot of that's from the commercial background. So hopefully you'll see a lot more from that. You also travelled another significant distance down to Rayleigh and went to Monitor Audio again.
Such a long way, Stuart. Such a long way. It took me about 20 minutes to get there. I got there and I was offered lovely pastries, a coffee, cup of tea. It was beautiful. No, I went and done some training. So it's summertime.
Hey.
Obviously, got to keep yourself busy if you're not doing garden audio and home cinemas. So keep yourself educated. And I got a certificate.
Ooh, look at that.
So if you're not watching, Elevate Monitor Audio Group, they do training. And you can go there and learn about all their new Elevate speakers. So I knew of them. Obviously, we went there for the launch and the press day, and they've got all the speakers on the show, but I couldn't tell you what was what. But now I can tell you every single thing about those speakers and what they do, the significance of them, the tier 1, the tier 2s, and the tier 3s that they do. All the complete solutions, the architectural stuff, the garden audio as well that they do. They do some actual proper spikes and subs systems and some outdoor garden speakers. Really good morning that I spent there. It wasn't too long, 2 or 3 hours. Again, got fed and watered, which was always good, and I passed with flying colours. So thanks to the guys down there, and everybody else.
So that was the course that we discussed when we interviewed them. Is
Yes,
that correct?
it's
Yeah.
one of them. So they do others that you can get a bit more in depth and things, but that is one of them. But yeah, not nice and easy. A bit of common sense is needed for the 2-channel stereo speakers that they do as well. So yeah, really good. So.
I always like a bit of training. I mean, obviously, what are we? I'm over 19 years now. Been doing this for, and I always usually try and do once a quarter. I usually try and get on some webinar or some in person. Obviously, it's changed a bit now after COVID, but try and go on some training and learn about a new product, because you never know when you're going to get a client say to you, "Oh, I want a power conditioner, or I want, automated lighting, or I want a sprinkler system integrated into my whatever control system." So it's always good to keep up to date and keep on training. And actually, it's something that I still do now with Inside CI, but it's more now Google certified courses on advertising, or Claude certified courses on using Claude for AI and that within marketing and advertising and things like that. So which I could use with Inside CI, and I can also use with HCA members. So I do like a bit of training and a free pastry.
Every day is a learning day, and we all like a free pastry. I even took one back with me for my journey home. I had it for lunch, actually, a late lunch.
Actually, yeah, because it was when I left Liam's. Jamie turned around to me and said, "Do you want to take a sausage with you?" And I just looked at him and went, "That splattering down my t-shirt whilst I'm driving on the M25 is probably not good for road safety."
Those speed humps would have taken your car out and nearly took my van out. The last one, I would have bit too fast and scraped the bottom of it. So I did panic a little bit. But you would definitely have lost a sausage, Stuart.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about taking the car, and then I didn't for some reason, because of the car parking down there, because I've been there a few times. And I completely forgot about the speed hump. So I'm really, really glad that I didn't take the car, because I might have just been beached sort of doing this back and forward in the car whilst we waited. So
they are brutal. So if you go to Liam's house, those speed bumps are brutal. 1 mile an hour maximum speed, I personally would say.
Yeah, not and in your van, and not a slammed out car which has been lowered.
Definitely not. But Stuart, you've got some news for us as well that we were discussing earlier. You've got a bit of a name change. Not you personally, because you'll always be called Stuart or Stu. But tell us more.
So actually, this is born out of the conversation we had at Jamie's. And it's that classic case of where a lot of people say they do their best thinking when they're in the shower, in the bath. I do my best thinking when I'm driving. So as you alluded to earlier, Jamie sort of like at the end of the presentation sort of said he wanted the integrator to say to them how they best wanted to be supported with Krix, how they wanted the relationship between CAVD and Krix to work, and how does he go about incentivizing people to buy Krix from CAVD. This sort of got me thinking in respects of the with Inside CI, I've been touting it and building on that history that David set out in 2012, which is the integrator's view of our industry. So, I remember, I think it was David Kitchener he'd said to me once, you've turned from industry integrator to industry activist. And that's sort of what I feel with Inside CI. I'm trying to approach it differently. I'm trying to approach advertising from the integrator's point of view of how I would have listened to it or seen it or read it or watched it when I was an integrator working on site. And it sort of gave me an idea of like one of the phrases we use within the HCA is individually great but better together. And it sort of made me sort of think, well, individually great, stronger together, better together. Actually, as a voice of integrators, if we get everybody like the HCA members, and we get senior integrators, and we get everybody together to swap ideas, have conversations, we almost create something which I've termed as the integrator's voice. So it sort of builds on that individually great. So Simon of Cinema Rooms, Stuart of Immersive Cinema Rooms, but obviously strength in numbers. So my idea was to first of all, going to rebrand the podcast, the Integrator's Voice podcast, because I do believe it fits quite well. It's me and you talking about life as an integrator, news as an integrator, jobs we're doing, places we've been. But also, what I want to do is I want to invite other integrators into the podcast to talk about their lives. And we're going to get on a subject that Zach at Mega brought up on LinkedIn the other day that I read. And also, the ultimate goal is to create a forum where we can all go and talk. Now, I do want a little bit of feedback from people listening to this. Where would you like me to do the forum?
I was just about to ask that. Not Facebook. That'd be my priority. Who uses Facebook nowadays?
So you've got places you could do it on Facebook. You could do it on places like Patreon, but then that's behind a paywall normally. Although there are free tiers. You could do it on places like Slack, or I've been having a look around at creating our own forum. So you've obviously got websites like AV Forums, which is more consumer based conversations. So first of all, I want to create a forum. Second of all, what I want to do is I want to invite professional manufacturers and distributors into the fold as well, because let's say, for example, you've got a beta test of a new product. You want to do a focus test. You want to send out some examples for people to play with. I'm doing some stuff with Sonos at the moment with the Amp Multi. They're going to send me one of the new units for me to unbox and have a look at. So I just thought, actually, as a group focused, an integrated group focused group of industry professionals that basically could give feedback to manufacturers, give feedback to distribution, and also swap stories and help each other out. It's sort of, that's where it's termed as the integrator's voice, and it starts off with a rebrand of the podcast.
Fantastic news. So the voice for the inside and AV industry. I like it.
Yeah.
Tagline.
Yeah. So
there we go.
So basically, if you're an integrator, if you do anything from electrical to smart home to cinema to all of those type of things where our trades cross over, then we welcome you in to have a conversation. If you're new to the industry, you want to learn about the industry, if you're veterans like us who have been in the industry for way too long and have a lot of stories, and we're both involved in other groups, in other chats, in other private WhatsApp groups, things like that. And there's always some really good conversations that are swaps, like, guys, I've got a problem with X, or guys, I'm doing this, and can anybody remember the username and password to get into a Sony projector? Wasn't that one of your recent ones? I think, wasn't it?
I think so, or somebody else.
Yeah. So it just sort of thought. I mean, the forum will come, and and the numbers will come. But it's just sort of like the integrator's voice, powered by Inside CI and the people behind it, because it is a platform for the integrators to listen and learn and hopefully participate into some training and focus groups, and hopefully even, look, here's a new product, we want to put it in front of 10 people to try.
Yeah, no, forum's really good idea as well, Stuart. So, well, heads up there for doing a good job on coming up with that idea. What platform we use, I'm sure, people can comment and let us know. So now you need to redo the intro.
Hello and welcome to the Integrator's Voice podcast for Wednesday, the 29th of July, 2026. There you go.
Yay! Where's your little mixer to do some buttons?
Should have done that before the announcement, really, shouldn't I?
Should have done, really. Rewind.
So obviously, if you want to get involved, email hello@insideci.com. Obviously, go to insideci.com and sign up for the weekly newsletter. Check us out on social media, and reach out to me directly if you want to be included in the forum when it goes live. I'm not going to promise you it's going to be a quick turnaround, because I want to get it up and get it up properly. But if you want to register interest, or you want to just be, I'm having some great conversations when I see people like CAVD, like CUK, like AWE. I've got things that are going on in the background. We talked about one just a minute ago, before we came on camera. And I want to build Inside CI and the Integrated Voice podcast or the Integrated Voice to be, a voice of many people that one manufacturer or distributor comes to ask opinions or to help, get thoughts. So,
good idea.
Get involved. Email us hello@insideci.com, or reach out to me on social media, and we'll take it from there. But one of the things I saw the other day, which I wanted to bring up, was good friend Zach at Mega put on LinkedIn, which was the following. Just heard that the big house in an affluent area outside London is getting rid of all smart home technology. We are talking about a very big house with smart everything, lighting, heating, AV, TV lifts, etc., going back to manual light switching, basic audio, and TV. Unsmiling emoji. I was told that the system never worked as it should, power issues, etc. Clients not happy and fed up. Maybe there's another side to the story, but this is what I've heard. This is not giving our industry a good name, especially today when it is easy to design, deliver a system that can work even when there is no power for a while. Anyone can sell equipment, but it is what you do with it that counts, not the boxes you provide.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is not the first time I've heard things like this, and over specifying and under supported is a big issue in our industry. One of a friend of mine, they deal with takeover jobs. Let's put it that way. And one such job was a Lutron job up in London. A friend went round there. I won't mention who it was, in case they don't want me to speak about this. But yeah, I won't go too many specifics. But basically, what happened? They went around there, tried to sort of think out. Clients like, oh, what about upstairs? Okay, there's an upstairs. Didn't realise there was an upstairs on the system. Went upstairs, no keypads. So where's the keypads? Like, well, they're here the other day. And what the previous dealer had done while they were away is took the keypads out of the system to sell back to, because they were selling the house, sell them back to the new seller. That's why the new buyer of the house. So I think they've now been reported as not to be the dealer of this specific lighting manufacturer. So yeah, shocking things like that. But yeah, over specifying a system, especially when the client can't use it, make it too complicated, is just a no-no really. Just keep it simple. It's I know you're doing complete custom install and home automation, and it should be intuitive. I think that's the key word, to make it intuitive for the client and for others using the house. So we've had a client with run me up on Saturday, actually, just a basic RTI remote control. Couldn't turn the system on, couldn't turn the lights on. I said, fine, just grab the RTI remote. RTI remote wasn't charged. So little things like that just make a big difference. So the client's not happy with the system, whether he asked for support or didn't get the support that he required, spent all that money, then that's maybe the case. But if he can't use the system, he's the client. It's up to him what he wants to do.
Yeah, I think I had a client that a famous client, again, I won't mention his name. I had a famous client that I sort of was doing some work for years ago. It was as a result of the Sony contract I had years ago with all the Sony centers. And he came up to me and he said, Stuart, what do you think of this control system? And I'm like, well, it's a good control system. There's nothing wrong with that. Why? What's your issues? He said, oh, we don't like it. We think it's rubbish. I went, well, tell me why. Why do you think it's rubbish? And he said, we sat down the other night to watch TV, and we've got the screen in front of us, and we went to favourites, and all the favourites on the screen were Russian. And he said, for some reason, the control system was showing us Russian channels. I said, no, the control system was showing you the channels that the Russian family that you bought the house from potentially. Oh, yeah, we bought from a Russian family. So that was their favourites. What you needed to do was to get someone in to reprogram it to your Sky TV favourites or whatever platform you're using. But there was no handover. There was no book. There was no signage on the AV rack. I mean, I always used to make like the AMG type plaques on the front of my racks, which was like hand built by Stuart Burgess and phone number and email address and that. But I think first of all, if you're a professional listening to this, whether you're an architect, whether you're a builder, whether you're an interior designer, reach out to a HCA member, reach out to a CDM member, because you're then sort of cutting through a lot of the chaff, for want of a better word, to people that are investing in the industry. but also for the integrator, have a conversation with the client. What do they want to do? I mean, I wrote a document years ago for a lady, which was like, imagine yourself walking into this room. The room is the kitchen. What do you want to be able to do in the kitchen? Do you want to be able to listen to music? Do you want to be able to watch TV? If you want to be able to listen to music, how do you want to listen to music? Do you want it as background noise? Do you want it as really good noise? Do you want to be able to control it from a light switch on the wall or the phone in your pocket or your voice? And it was almost just sort of pushing her down the route to make those decisions, because a lot of the people that we deal with have either never lived in that house before, or that house does not even exist at the moment because it's not been built. And yeah, and you're going to lose trade. Houses will get sold. So in the case of a house being sold, if you've not supplied that customer with proper documentation, if you've not left your name and address, I mean, if you're a Control 4 dealer, I think Alan Chow Mein Soft does a help like button that you can put on Control 4. So when you press it, it brings up like your Google map of you, of the integrator. So
that's a good idea, actually. I like that. But yeah, we normally put our details on the rack and things. And normally, when there is an issue, you get a phone call. But I think a lot of houses, so you mentioned that the Russian houses getting sold, and if your details aren't there, then obviously they can't contact them. I think what a lot is also happening is houses are being sold, and then they're getting builders in to make it their own kind of property or their own house, which is lovely. But they don't. The builder then goes, oh, I know somebody who can look after that or sort that out. And they're not an HCA member, they're not a CDA member. And that's when the problem starts, because they'll go, I'll give it a go. And that's where generally it leads to problems. But I say a house like that has got to be well thought out, well planned. Little things like, well, not little things, big things like Wi-Fi. If you haven't got proper Wi-Fi throughout the whole house, then your iPad's not going to work on the top floor to turn the lights on. That little things like that. I know you've got keypads and stuff, but clients do like just pressing buttons on iPads and things like that, don't they?
But the thing is, if you've got, I don't know, even if you're new to this industry and you've got an account with, I'm just going to throw someone out there. You've got an account with someone like All Trade. So maybe you've been an aerial and satellite installer. You've got an All Trade account. If you turn around to the guys at All Trade, to Lee or someone like that, who distribute Unify, for example, they can point you in the right direction on how you could utilize a brand like Unify and design a system.
Yep, heat maps, things like that. It's very easy. You've got the plans for the house. We'll just do a basic drawing, get heat maps, and like, right, this is where an access point needs to go. This is how much it would fill that floor, because in London you've got a few floors. But yeah, it's really not that tricky nowadays.
But also you've got brands out there like Order Systems, like Damien and Jason, who I've had conversations with Jason about like video conferencing, and he was showing me some really good stuff at the CEDIA summits about video conferencing and things like that, which actually is something that may well be thrown across our paths as integrators. So as an integrator, all I would say is that if you get offered something which you don't normally do, research it before you say yes, because it's very easy to look at the pound notes and install it. But if you've never done it, it's gonna come back and bite you on the ass, basically, one that side or the other. And don't overcomplicate it. I think Zach's point here is a prime example of where it may well have not been done by one integration firm. It might have been done by one integration firm, but with many of people doing it who have not checked it. Or it could have been done by, no disrespect, the builder or the M&E consultant, and it's not a well cohesive system. And our systems do work, and I've got many a system out there that's been out there for 10, 15 years plus that still works, touch wood, to this day. I'm going to get loads of phone calls now, but they were all well designed. They were well integrated by me and my guys, and we look after them remotely, and we put service level agreements in it. But first of all and foremost, people know where to find our name. Also, don't forget to incentivize your client. I know this is not your forever home. When you come to move, if you could hand my details over, if you're seeing your client every year like I do, doing a service call, and they, there's a cinema near me that I did, I think it was pre-COVID. They said to me, oh, we're probably going to move to Scotland because they're both semi-retired. I said, well, when you do move, recommend me, and if the client takes me on and does a few bits and pieces, well, not so much me anymore, but if we look after the project, I'll give you a thank you. I'll give you a drink. I'll give you a couple £100. If they end up spending 50 grand, I'll give you 5% of that or something. Incentivize your client to pass on your details, saying this is the guy, he's been really helpful, this is the girl, they've been really helpful. Reach out to them if you want anything done.
Yeah, we've got that a few times, and it's quite nice going back to old jobs that you did about 9-10 years ago, and what things used to be like, especially with projectors and things. But I say, going back to the London house, clearly there was no service contract. Either just bought the house, or there was no service contract. The clients got more and more wound up and just had enough. But say fundamentally, I think those kind of jobs, get a service contract in place. Gold, silver, bronze, whatever you want to call it, level 1, level 2, level 3, just get a service contract in there, and then you're not going to get to these issues where the client's peed off, the industry gets a bad rep, and people get angry.
I think that's probably, if anybody was to say to me, the 20 years you've been an integrator, what would you, if you could go back to the beginning, what would you go back to the beginning and implement or change about where you are now? And one of those things would be service level agreements, would be because it's recurring monthly revenue, which is the holy grail for any business. Even if it's, I don't know, even if it's a tenner a month or 20 quid a month, just to keep an eye on your system using, Alta Labs Cloud or Ubiquity Cloud or Oversea or Demots or any of those systems.
I just said that Demots is fantastic for that kind of thing, and that you just put it in there, do a monthly contract. If the client doesn't want to do it anymore, you're like, that's fine, no problem. And then something will happen. They're like, yeah, I see why I spend this much money now on a yearly contract with Demots.
Send them, maybe if you can, if that device does it, send them at the end of every month, just to let you know this is what has happened in your house. We've rebooted your Skybox for you using a Wattbox or a Good. These are the things we've done for you as part of that. 19.99, 49.99, 99.99, whatever. So I know some people will say, if you sign up to if you sign up to a certain fee, then we basically don't charge your call out, or we do your service. So if you sign up for, let's say $49.99 a month, then we'll come and do your service call completely free of charge. You don't have to pay us a day rate to do it. Again, going back to what we discussed earlier, this is why I wanted to create, the integrator's voice as a platform where anybody coming into this industry could have those conversations, like anybody who's been in this industry for years and goes, I need to get a little bit more money out of this. I need to do this. I need to do that. Share those conversations, because we do it on the HCA group. We have some great conversations on our WhatsApp group, and there's thousands of integrators around the world.
Can you imagine what that would have been like when we first started? That would have been very, very, very handy for such things like that. But it would be more with like hi-fi, laserdisc, DVDs.
Yeah, how do I stop this scratch on the back of my DVD? Or I've got a client that's going from laserdisc to DVD. How does he do his collection? Or
my DVD keeps skipping. What's going on? Well, it's dual layer. What's that? Oh, okay. Or was it double-sided at one point, DVD? Because didn't have the storage on there. I think you had to turn it over at one point. I think it was Armageddon. I remember doing Armageddon. I think, I can't remember, it was probably I don't know. Friends come over.
Was double-sided.
Yeah, Laserdisc, but I'm sure DVD might have been as well. Anyway, there's one scene in Armageddon. Watched it, and then unbeknown to us, it was they were heading into space. To sort out, spoiler alert, the meteor about to crash, and they went on the space station, but it skipped, so it jumped like 3 or 4 chapters, and then the spaceship that was starting to explode, the space station was exploding, and I was like, what's happened there? So I'm like, skipped it back to where we were, and it carried on. We're like, oh, we've missed about 2 or 3 chapters there. So there, the dual layer. But yeah, if you had that little group back then, you would know exactly what was going on. Reminiscing.
Well, exactly. I mean, I can remember. That's how my AV obsession started off with a set of floor stand speakers in my bedroom at my mum and dad's. I had a full surround sound system, a Friend style lazy boy with a Pioneer dual layer. Or actually, no, the Laserdisc player had actually turned it over for you. It read both sides of the disc. So
nice.
Yeah,
Was that a nice Pioneer by any chance?
Yeah, I was Pioneer 925 or something like that.
909 was
I
it?
had, yeah, I had it chipped. I had it a little. There was a little flappy bit on the side. Was it Technotronics or something like
Yep.
that? They basically put this little chip in it to make it dual region, and they said if you have any problems with it, pull this out before you send it back, because otherwise it will void the warranty. And
Oh
I was
wow.
like, but they've put the slot there for you to put it in, but you can't put it in. It's like, no, you can put it in, but you just got to take it out before you send it back.
Wow. At least that was nice and easy. I remember doing the Denon DVD players. We had the eight pin
Oh yeah,
Tektronix as a band, Technotronics, Tectronics. I can't even say it now. And you had to wire up the 8 pin to another pin on the DVD player to get it multi-region.
wow.
I used to like doing that. It's a good bit of soldering.
Well, and then we went all the way through to the latter days of like the Sony. I think it's the Sony DVD players or Blu-ray players where you got an all-for-one remote control and you programmed like 69, 69, 44 in it, and then it made it multi-region. So yeah.
That's before Google, though, wasn't it?
Well, exactly. Now you can just do anything with anything. But
Yes. So, what news have you got, Stuart? Any news for us?
before we get into the news, please rate, review, or subscribe to this podcast, YouTube video, whatever you're listening to or looking, watching it. It really helps us get found on platforms and gets us into more integrators' feeds to listen to us in their cinemas whilst they're building them or driving their van. The news with me starts off. So tickets are on sale for one of my favourite things now. Every year is the Senior Awards. Yep, let me just bring the story down. So tickets are now on sale for the 2026 Senior Awards, the EMEA Awards, taking place on the 23rd at, ready? Drum
roll, come on, drum roll.
It's taking place at the Natural History Museum in London.
Yay, they've gone back to what they know.
Exactly.
Very
and it's going to be...
wise.
It's going to be celebrating the 20th year of the awards.
Wow, is it really?
So tickets are available now at an early bird rate until the 28th of August, starting at £235 for members, £265 for non-members. Natural History Museum headline sponsor is our good friends at Monitor Audio Group, with additional participations including Control 4's drinks reception, Zenio as after party sponsor, and CUK Group, Lutron, and Sonos as associated sponsors. My first CD Awards was courtesy of an invite from AWE, from Mr. Tickle, thank you very much. And that was at the Natural History Museum, and that was sitting under to the side of Dippy before he went on his roadshow tour around the UK. It's last year was good at the Londoner. The year before that at the Brewery, or a few years before that at the Brewery was good. They were really, really good venues. But for me, there was something always quite nice about, and I know obviously from a cost point of view, probably costs a damn sight more to have it in the Natural History Museum and places like that. But
100%.
But for me, like going to the Natural History Museum, going to the V&A, going to Harry Potter World, and having, I'm not a Harry Potter fan. I got halfway through the first movie and turned it off because I got bored.
What about the Amazon TV series, Stuart? I hope you're going to watch that.
Maybe. I forget I have Amazon half the time, apart from when I get me shopping.
I was watching Masters of the Universe last night on Amazon. Highly recommended, by the way.
Is that He-Man?
Can't say He-Man. It plays on it. I know we're skipping subjects, but it plays on it really, really well. So if you watch the cartoons, so
it's not Mattel then, is it?
You're a 70s, 80s child, you need to watch it, and you'll laugh out loud at certain bits because it includes Fisto and other such innocent names when you're there. And I'd recommend it just for nostalgia reasons. It's really good.
Oh, I'll have to have a look at that. But no, I mean, for me, like having dinner on, what was it, platform 9 3/4 or whatever it is at Harry Potter next to the train. I mean, it was just having those really good industry dinners and the awards in some really fun places where, you can walk through the entrance into Harry Potter World where they've got all the costumes, or you could walk through the Natural History Museum and see the fossils and the pictures and all of that. it was just a hell of a lot more interesting. Again, no disrespect to the Londoner and the brewery, but for me, that's what the CD Awards is, and I cannot wait to get my free press pass. CDR, I'm talking at you, Steve. To get my ticket, I'm going to buy my ticket, and then go to this year because I really, really, really do enjoy it.
Yeah, no, they're really good shows. My first one was about 15 years ago, and we actually filmed the event and hint nudge nudge, and we actually did interviews. But we also had the Sky News TV presenter who was doing the hosting, and I was interviewing the winners as part of
Oh wow!
Cinema
Is
Cine
that
Now.
Sydney now? Yeah.
Yeah, so I was interviewing people, and then I think it's Martin somebody come along, the Sky News host. Is like, would you like me to interview people? I'm like, yeah, go for it. You're much better than me. So he did the interviewing, and yeah, I think doing interviews for people who've just won, obviously, alcohol can play a little bit of an important part of that. So don't get too drunk if you are being interviewed and get your awards. But I think obviously nowadays you just go up and shake hands and stagger off back to your table. But CD awards are good. You get to catch up with everybody, of all your industry friends, and also meet new friends and things like that. It's a really good evening. So get your ticket before they sell out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a really good event. It's really, really worth going to. And if Matt, if you're listening to this, could you just shift them forward a little bit? Because last year they went on quite a long time, and I had to leave like halfway through the second half to get me train home.
Just get a hotel, Stuart. Get it, book it now. It'll be nice and cheap.
I go to bed at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and that's when the senior awards start.
You have to have some Pro Plus. That'll keep you going. Old school.
I don't have the alcohol to drink anymore. So anyway, so Simon, the second story is Sony Sony home entertainment product training. I saw this come up on the True RGB TVs.
Yeah, so a little bit of an email from Sony regarding their new True RGB TVs, but it was also on the other products. So I thought it was going to be some live webinar and teaching of things. It was actually on YouTube. So whether it was live but on YouTube, I'm not 100% certain, but I had to wait quite a while before it actually started. So if you kind of Googled it, you'll probably be able to find it on YouTube somewhere. But yeah, no, really, really good in training, I suppose. I wouldn't call it training per se. It wasn't like the monitor audio one that I did. It was just going through all their TVs that they've got out, and they've got a number of TVs, but also they've got their Bravia Connect systems, which basically is wireless speakers. So I know we spoke about HEOS not too long ago, and going through how they do that. But basically, the Bravia Connect, you can actually do it on your phone. So get it on your phone, and excuse me, somebody's talking on my speaker. So yeah, the Bravia Connect, you can actually have that on your phone and connect up the system with a sound bar, get all the sound bar working, get the rear speakers working wirelessly as well. The sound bar does Atmos, so they're trying to really home in on sort of the theatre home cinema market. And we know we're talking about keeping things simple. If the client wants a nice Sony telly from whatever size, so you've got the Bravia 9 Mark II, which is say the true RGB TV. There's actually been a review from our friend Vince recently on YouTube, and
Okay.
he did say right at the end, push come to shove, OLED is still better, but the true RGBs do look pretty impressive, especially with their anti-glare and things. But yeah, Bravia 8 2s, Bravia 7 2s, and yeah, you've got sub 7, sub 8, sub 9s, and the rear 8s and 9s as well as part of that. But just a complete package, and I think they really get it, Sony. They listen to integrators, especially reviewers like Vince and things like that. Really listen to what they have to say and implement software upgrades and what they can do. But having a home, not as cinema as we would have cinema, but as we were talking one of our first podcasts, like what is home cinema? Is it something you can go and get out the box and just plonk it down? But some people are happy with a nice big 75, 85-inch TV with a Sony soundbar that does Atmos. Get the rear speakers wireless. You can even have 2 subs now as well, dual subs.
Yeah.
Again, they are wireless. Obviously, you're not going to get deep levels of bass, and you're not going to get 105 dB. But in a nice little media room, I think that would do some people.
Yeah, well, shout out to Vincent at HD TV Test. If you go on YouTube and just put in HD TV Test, all one word, you'll see on there his video is it's my Sony Bravia 9 II review. Took 6 weeks, and here's why.
Yeah, he does make some fantastic innuendos in this one, so keep an eye out for the little ting. But yeah, basically about him lasting longer.
I always remember him saying to me, what I always remember saying on one video I watched before I really knew him, and it was like, if you like this video, press the like button. If you don't like this video, press the like button again. And I thought that was quite funny. But I was chatting to him recently at the AWE Expo, so I was chatting with him and Steve and Stuart Tickle. So it was good. It was good to catch up. So no, I mean, it's the true RGB TVs do look very interesting from Sony, and obviously they are, getting bigger and bigger, like we've discussed before. So it's going to be interesting to see true RGB OLED, side by side, how they fare, type of thing.
It's like Mortal Kombat Fight. I watched that as well the other day.
Oh, I couldn't even think of anything worse watching that.
I was half asleep, to be fair, but while you're on your own, drink beer and watch Mortal Kombat.
Hold a second. So you're saying to me that you wouldn't watch the remake of what was the Arnold Schwarzenegger film that just got remade? Running Man.
Running Man. Yeah, no, that was god awful. First 10 minutes was great, and then after that, it just got plain silly. We should do film reviews.
I was going to say you not going to watch. You wouldn't watch that, but you watched Mortal Kombat. I saw Mortal Kombat and was like, I'm not even going to watch this.
I've got to that age now. I just like reminiscing. To be fair, so yeah, that's where I'm at.
Oh, excellent. Right, so the next story is sort of following on from our story last, where we were talking about shows and things getting cancelled and exhibitions and events and bits and pieces like that. On Monday the 20th, so last week, 7 days ago as we record this, Monitor Audio put out a press announcement saying, let me just bring this down. Monitor Audio is to hold a CI Connect trade showcase. So Monitor Audio Group has announced a 2-day open event for the custom installation industry, taking place on October the 7th and October the 8th. CI Connect aims to encourage collaboration across the sector, bringing together technology brands and industry trade associations and charity partners. Hosted at Monitor Audio's group headquarters in Raleigh, Essex, it's going to be a journey for you again. CI Connect 2026 promises to showcase the latest innovations in residential technology, offering visitors opportunities to experience integrated smart home solutions, attend live product demonstration, watch guest speaker demos and mini training sessions. Participating brands at the moment include Cedia, The Chords Company, our friends at Cinema Lux, Control 4, Infinity Seating, obviously Monitor Audio, 1AV, Q-Motion EMEA, Rayco Lighting, Together for Cinema, Trinov, and WeQuote. More will be announced in the coming weeks. So it's good that it seems to be that Monitor have sort of like gone, look, we've got these lovely new facilities. Let's reach out to some of the people that might have been doing EI Live and then see if we can get something together that still sort of like heralds that and builds on that, and again is a couple of days where people could get together and chat and look at some new products and do some networking.
May I be the first to say, well done, Monitor Audio Group. You should be commended. I've seen some forums and they've just moaned. Obviously, we haven't got Essential Install this year, which is fine, fair enough. So Monitor Audio have stepped up to the plate to offer installers an opportunity to have something slightly different where you can go and listen and understand and talk to the exhibitors or whatever you want to call them that they're trying to do at their facility. There's no point whinging and moaning about, it's just another event where you've got some speakers and some Trinov and that kind of stuff. That is not the point. If you don't want to go, don't go. There's my rant over. Thank you.
Well, I think it's it's a I can only imagine they're going to do it in like the room where you did the training the other day, because obviously the rest of the buildings there are very much like the museum, offices, and factories and things like that. So it's not a huge venue. So it's not going to be an EI Live. It's not going to be an Epsom racecourse or a Sandown Park type thing. It's going to be a little bit like a CDA Summit. It's going to be where you'll have some good brands there, but more importantly for me, it's the networking. It's the if there's good conversations about subjects about being an integrator. I mean, that's the way I would approach it. I mean, David years ago did something called Inside Out, and it was now rest in peace the Dolby Cinema or Dolby facilities in Soho.
Is that gone now?
Yeah, Dolby's not in
Sold
Soho
it.
anymore.
They sold it, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, it was costing them a stupid amount of money every year to be there, and it was virtually no one was there. So it's a shame, really.
Shame.
I mean,
Yeah,
obviously, we've got places like the Kef Gallery, which is I use quite a lot, which is just off of Great Portland Street or just off of Oxford Street, but David did something there years ago called Inside Out, which was little demonstrations of, I think it was M&K. I think that there was Sony were there.
CAVD actually hired that out as well. Right at the beginning when Jamie first started his journey. I might be wrong. It might have been previous company he worked for, but I'm sure it was CAVD.
Well, I think it's important to have some I think for me, I will go somewhere where there's really good guest speakers, where there's really good networking. Maybe not so much interested in the product because, we do this. I'm quite adverse with what's going on in this world. If there's new stuff and new sexy, shiny and things like that, brilliant. But like you, we go to EI Live, we go to ISC, we go to CAVD, CUK, AWE, all of those things. So I think it will be really good. But yeah, I'm with you. Hats off to the guys at Monitor Audio. I mean, MJ's talking about it. If you read the article, the Inside CIO website. Thank you for stepping up and putting something on, and hopefully this is the start of many, many things to come, and maybe something that is slightly different to your EI Lives and your individual focused brand.
Yeah, it's not an EI Live replacement by any stretch of the imagination, and it's not trying to be, as MJ said. Like, our industry thrives on face-to-face conversations, which is what our industry is all about. So if you don't want to go, don't go. We would urge you to go because it's going to be a fun couple of days. So they've actually got quite a few. It's quite a big area, actually. I remember where they sort of, you go into the other buildings, whether they'll do something in there. I know it's more office based and things, but obviously they've got the warehouse as well, which I'm not sure I'll be able to use. But you have got the larger room inside. You've got the media room that they've got. So the rooms are all pretty big, so they can house quite a few people in there. But no, it's be a good couple of days. Get your name down and come along and do some face-to-face chats.
Definitely, 100%. So talking about speaker brands, one of your favourite, Amina, has released a new speaker, which is the next story with you.
Yeah, so we like Amina. Obviously, we did the Tudor building, and which we won the Inside Media Room Award for, which is really good. And obviously, Michael come down and did the video for us, the case study.
Drone flying by Simon at Cinema Rooms.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah, that was me. But what they have got out is the Sapphire S200 and the Sapphire Dual. So what is interesting, I'll start on the Dual first. Obviously, that's a 2-channel single stereo speaker. So ideal for like bathrooms, offices in the home. Not massive rooms, but we normally just, I don't know about yourself, but we just normally put a single stereo speaker up in the ceiling, and it's a bit odd because you can just see one speaker. So it's practical. We haven't got much space again in bathrooms or offices and things like that. But it does look a bit odd when you just see one speaker. So with the dual Sapphire Amina speaker, you're not going to see that because it's going to be plastered over. You may need, if you wanted to, their sub that they do, or a sub in the corner just to get it a bit more oomph, because you're not going to get loads from that. But what you have also got is the S200. So the S200 speakers, they are slimline. So again, going back to our Tudor building install that we've done, the beams, the joists, if you want to call them, there was no set standard. Obviously, modern houses, they are set standard, and makes life a lot easier. But the slimline invisible speakers for the tight spaces. So the newest addition to our Sapphire range is the S200, a slimline invisible speaker built for projects where space is at a premium. So again, you're not going to get much space from that. So the panel measures just 200 by 450 and is only 31 millimeters deep. So
Wow.
that is pretty impressive. Again, you're not going to get much bass from that, but you can obviously add their subs. Built for narrow joists and awkward voids is the way they're selling it. Actually on their website, which is quite good. I'm surprised our name's not mentioned, but is this, they've got frequently asked questions, is the Sapphire S200 suitable for listed and heritage buildings? And of course the answer is yes. So no, nice little solution from Amina there.
There definitely should be a link in there. Watch our case study of an install we did with Martin at Redline and Simon at Cinema Rooms.
Yeah, 100%.
So get on it, Matthew. No, I mean, what I like about invisible speakers, what I like about Amina, I mean, obviously we did a 16-channel Amina system for a client a few years ago. What I quite like about the invisible speaker or the plaster-in speaker is exactly that, is that it's not detracting from the environment of the room, the decor of the room. It could be recessed within furniture, behind the veneer. It can go behind wallpaper. But more importantly, in houses that have got beams in the ceiling, in houses where, you know, typically, as we always do with ceiling speakers, the builders never put the joists in the right way, or they've had to put a double joist in and not thought about a ceiling speaker going in there. If the speaker's not exactly center above the TV or below the TV, or the speakers are not evenly spaced left or right because of the joists, with obviously plaster-in speakers, it doesn't matter so much because you can't see them. Where I've done a few jobs where we've had to put speakers around the TV, and I've used Amina mainly because actually the way it's gone into the wall, the right hand speaker would have been like a foot to the more away from the TV in the left hand, because it was a retrofit and the client didn't want to build the wall out. And I think that's where invisible speakers work really well. And then your analogy, plastering speakers in wet environments tick first of all. You know, we were doing quite a big job with Amina. Unfortunately, the house, I don't think, ever got built because the company that did it went bankrupt or put into litigation or something like that. But we were going to put them in a swimming pool, because again, they were going behind plaster. You didn't see where they were. Yeah, you didn't see where they were. So, a dual speaker, invisible speaker in a kitchen or a bathroom, an ensuite, are brilliant because you could, within reason, put it anywhere, hook that up to a multi-room audio amplifier as part of a standalone system or as part of a home automation system, and you don't see the speaker. As good old Babs from who used to be with Amina said, you're not putting dinner plates in the ceiling.
No, you're definitely not doing that. We had actually a client contact us recently, wanted at a fairly big room, 9 meters by about 4 meters, but the speakers had to be offset because that's where the wall was. So you had basically wooden beams in the ceiling on show. So we could put the screen centrally, but if you imagine the screen central and then a wall just to the right hand side, the client suggested having in-wall speakers from a certain manufacturer, which is fine. But the more I thought about it, I thought that's going to look odd, because not only would it sound a bit odd because I think to the right of the screen, obviously EQ as much as you like, but you'd also see the speakers in a wall to the right hand side of a screen. So my suggestion was Amina speakers, which obviously not the perfect way to have sound offset. Again, you can EQ that to a certain extent, but you won't be able to see the speakers. So you wouldn't know they were there, and you're like, oh, where's that sound coming from? So it's not quite as obvious. But having speakers in a wall that wasn't central to the screen may have looked a bit odd. We haven't done it yet. There's still conversations to be had.
Well, I remember talking with Drummy at AWE when they first did the big cinema, when they did it when they first did it with Kef, I think it was. Obviously, Kef wanted to see all the speakers. So that expo, they had, the LCRs, but they were outside of the screen. So they put the center speaker below the screen, and I think, if I'm right in thinking, James sort of said to people, give some feedback, and everybody's like, "Oh, the speaker shouldn't be down there." All I could hear was the speaker coming from audio coming from up from the floor, blah blah blah, and all this lot. Fast forward 6 months, 12 months later, I think it was. They did another one of their expos, I think it was, and James basically took them back in there. Everybody sat down and he said, "What do you think of the improvements?" Blah, blah, blah. And I said, "Oh, it's so much better. Thank you for whatever you've done. This sounded amazing. What did you do?" And he just said, "I just sprayed the grill black." Or he just hid the speaker so you couldn't see it so much in your line of sight. And straight away, because the people didn't realize the speaker was below the screen still, their mind's eye took it above the screen and put it where it should be. But because they could see it below the screen and they could see it left and right, they basically were just like, "It's wrong, it's not working, blah blah blah." And again, that's where I've quite liked using invisible speakers, is in those situations where I can't put a ceiling speaker in, I can't put an in-wall speaker in. It's going to look weird. It's going to play massively with my OCD. And I think that, whatever brand it is, that basically is where it fits really well into a project. You don't want to see it, don't want to ruin the decor, or it might be solving a problem you might have with speaker placement.
Yeah, you just need to make intelligent compromises, really. But going back to that demo you did, I remember me and Giff had the similar demo when they just got the speakers in, and from Bespoke, me and Giff couldn't believe it. We're like, "What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean the center speaker's not behind the screen?" It's like, "No, it's down there." It's like, "What?" So yeah, we were blown away by the voodoo that AWE had created. But hey, a perfect working solution. So yeah, no, well done to those guys.
Exactly. Right. The last story is, I just put this up. I mean, it's not very relevant to the UK market, but as Steve summed it up when he basically, I'm trying to find the line which he put in. While a few UK-based installers are unlikely to make the trip, the equipment chosen for the Magnolia 2 demo room is well worth noting.
Yeah, this is Rayleigh in North Carolina, by the way, not Rayleigh in Essex. Monitor audio.
So basically, I got sent the press release, which is Ascendo, Trinov Audio, and Christie unite for a standout home cinema experience. So the ultra high performance home cinema is set to be a standout attraction at Audio Advice Live 2026, the annual event which returns to Raleigh, North Carolina, in August. I'm just going to Raleigh, darling. I'll be back in a week. Brings together manufactured integrators for 3 days of demonstrations, seminars, and then he goes on to the UK biz. Ascendo, Trinov Audio, Christie, have combined their flagship technologies to create a system designed to show what can be achieved when advanced room acoustics and professional grade projection are treated as a single integrated experience. The demo room builds on last year's award-winning bass showcase, where Trinov and Ascendo presented the latest evolution in cylindrical waveforming. This approach aims to prevent standing waves rather than correcting them, using floor-level front subwoofer array and rear subwoofers to deliver constant bass and improved transient accuracy.
The room was massive. I mean, it's 7.5 meters by 7.5 meters and got 18 subs in there. I mean, that's just bonkers for waveforming. I bet Trinov loved it.
Using the Trinov CI processor, the Amplitude 16, then the Trinov immersive audio system built around 6 of the 18 passive vented subwoofers, and the 32 Infra sub, extended bass response well below waveforming's operational range. Going on to Christie. Christie supplies the visual components with the Chorus 4K 1000 KS laser projector paired with its 135-inch wall screen deluxe. The projector is a 0.8-inch. Oh, it goes on to a lot of stuff that I've made. Well, 10,000 ISO lumens and 4K UHD plus resolution.
That sounds one impressive room, I have to say. It's I'm not going to to all the way over to Carolina, North Carolina, to see that. But no, it does sound very impressive. But what going back to Trinov, Altitude CI processor, that's just been upgraded, isn't it, from 16 to now? Is it 32 or 64 max? They've just
Now
up.
you
They've
ask,
just done
I'm
the.
pretty sure.
They've just done the upgrade. So originally it was just 16, which is great for most people. And obviously the CI processor has got the new GUI, which is much more intuitive and much easier to use. To install the actual product itself. But yeah, it's going. I think it's gone either it's from 16 to 32 or 16 to 64. But it was a bigger number. I think it must be 64 because the number was pretty big in my head. And I was like, wow, that's a lot of speakers.
Just try and have a look. The 12 Altitude CI processor upgrades up to 32 channels as standard via modular remote licenses with a custom 64 channel version available. So yeah, it was right. 32 up to 64.
Yeah.
I mean, when we've done many a podcast, I mean, I've not actually done a podcast with David, I don't think, this year, apart from obviously when you interviewed him at ISE. But that was the idea behind the Altitude CI, was that you buy the license for the amount of channels that you want. Yep. So it's an upgradable product. And I think we're certainly seeing more and more sort of high-end systems now where actually running 64 channels in a home theatre is not unheard of these days, where, you know, maybe go back, 3, 4, 5 years ago, the idea of 32 channels was like, mind-blowing, but actually 64 channels is not unheard of. So
no, not nowadays, that's for sure. So yeah, no, it's obviously there's a market out there for it, and if we can capitalize on that, then yeah, happy days.
Definitely. So that's the news, but don't forget you can also go to the Inside CI website if you scan the QR code on the screen now, or head over to insideci.co.uk. And there's loads of other stories on there. Steve keeps me really busy with my social media posts by putting up stories. So at the moment, you've got Monitor Audio opens up ordering for Hyphen, which is their high-end 2-channel speaker system, in up to 200 custom finishes. Armour Home, a name from many years ago for me, targets growth by appointing a new global sales director. And I've also been talking to Ricky at Calibrate, but one of the brands they also distribute is XJimmy. So XJimmy have announced an Alphin Flip projector, which is a great high brightness level projector with great gaming support. But I know we've basically spoken about potentially me and Ricky getting together because they've got the Ultra, I think, coming out in September time, which we've sort of like talked about potentially doing our first video sort of conversation about projectors and about different types of projector and how they fit into your projects and your home. So you can head over to the Inside CI website and catch up with loads more stories like that. Obviously, don't forget to go to insideci.co.uk and sign up for our weekly newsletter. We've got a bit of a refresh. I think next week, as we record this, you're going to get a brand new newsletter. It's completely redesigned. It's all nice and new, which I've redesigned. Take the platform forward a little bit. Website will follow shortly after, maybe into 2027, but that's going to cost me a damn sight more money than a newsletter upgrade. So pop over to Inside CI, and that's it. Simon, thank you very much for taking it's Monday, isn't it? Monday evening up.
No problem. My stomach is rumbling, so I need to get some food, but I will be looking out for this new newsletter that you're doing. And check your spam as well, because a few of mine were going into there from previous.
That's one reason I've moved it, yeah, because it was within the other platform that I was using for HCA. I can go in and change the DNS settings on the website, so I can put the lines of code in to say that it's official.
Wow.
The other platform I inherited that it was on before,
yep,
you couldn't do that.
And that's why it was going into spam.
Yeah, so I'm hoping, and also it's a lot cleaner, it's a lot modern, is all I can say. So have a look. I'm hoping to do it next week. It may well be the week after, but hopefully in August we'll get that up. One other thing I've just remembered, you're not wearing an England shirt.
No, No, after we won the World Cup. Oh no, that didn't happen. No, we got beaten by Argentina, and Spain won the World Cup. So the rightful winners of the tournament. So well done, Spain.
We won the People's World Cup
We
final.
did. We come third.
Where we beat France.
Yeah.
And technically, we should come second because they should kick Argentina out. But anyway, we won't go there. We won't go there. So,
but I've got my new T-shirt on that you kindly given me. So Inside CI T-shirt, and looking smart. It is very thick, so I'm very hot and melting because it is getting warmer out there, getting back to 32 degrees. So thanks.
And I feel really bad because I haven't got my Inside CI T-shirt on because
shocking.
Well, because it's washed and ironed because I've got a solder stick to go to later in the week, so I wanted to wear it for that.
You need more than one, Stuart.
And this hot, I have, but this room is so bloody hot. Simon, where can people find you online?
So yeah, all the socials, so Instagram, Twitter. We've actually been contacted, not Twitter, sorry, LinkedIn. Actually been contacted on LinkedIn for various different things, which I need to speak to you about. But yeah, no. So Inside CI guys, you can contact me on Instagram, WhatsApp. We're on YouTube as well, and obviously got our website, cinema-rooms.co.uk.
And on socials, that's Cinema Rooms.
So Cinema Rooms, yeah. So on Instagram, LinkedIn, and yeah, that's the best ones to contact us on for anything you want to discuss.
Excellent. So if you want to get hold of me personally, my social medias mainly are at Mr. Stuart Burgess, but otherwise you'll pretty much find me at Inside CI News or at Inside CI _ UK, because someone's got Inside CI in Japan somewhere that posts once every 3 years and I can't get it off them.
Boo.
Email me at hello@insideci.co.uk. I'm trying to think now, it's .com, isn't it? hello@insideci.com. If you want to get involved in the Integrator's Voice, if you want to come on the podcast, if you've got something to talk about, or you want to be part of the forum when I get it off the ground. But Si, thank you very much for your time, and I'm going to go and have some dinner.
No problem at all, Stuart. Thanks for having us, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your summer.
Excellent. Cheers, guys. See you soon. Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.